Well, joining me live now is Environment and Water Minister Tanya Plibersek. Minister, good to see you. Thanks for coming on the program this morning.
Good morning.
Is that a failure of
always a pleasure.
Is that a failure of migration policy, as the coalition is suggesting?
Oh, absolutely not. We had the same settings that the coalition had, and now we've taken that in hand to reduce student numbers because we know that the pressure that high numbers of international students have been putting on things like our rental market. Look, we've got to get this balance right. We know that we've got skills shortages in a lot of areas. We know that there are worker shortages in a lot of areas, but we know that in some places those migration numbers have been putting on pressure. We're balancing that in the best interests of Australia.
Donald Trump's advisor, Dan Scavino, who has cryptically suggested Kevin Rudd's time as Australia's ambassador to the US was running out, and has been named as the White House Deputy Chief of Staff overnight. That's an influential role in the White House. Does that raise any concerns for you at all?
Well, not at all. Kevin Rudd has distinguished himself as ambassador. He's widely recognised as one of the world's preeminent experts on China, and particularly on the time of Xi Jinping as leader. We know that people like Malcolm Turnbull, the former Liberal Prime Minister, and other prominent Liberals, including former ambassadors, have said that it's important for Kevin Rudd to remain as ambassador, and it shows Australia's strength.
Yeah, former PM Malcolm Turnbull says you have to be tough, and suggested it would be a show of weakness to remove an ambassador because of the election result. Would you agree with that assessment?
Oh, look, I think it's really important that Malcolm Turnbull has said this. You know, Malcolm and Kevin weren't besties. Malcolm has recognised that Kevin Rudd is the best person for the job. I think that's a really significant intervention.
The government has announced plans to legislate a digital duty of care, and the latest tech reform will include penalties for social media platforms that breach it. But there are concerns that it's been rushed through Parliament without being properly scrutinised. Do you think those concerns are valid?
No, not at all. The Communications Minister, Michelle Rowland, has done extensive consultation with the public, with the tech companies, with other experts, including parents groups who have raised many, many concerns about the negative impacts that some platforms have been having on kids, the really extreme examples of self-harm and even suicide that we've seen in young people. I think it is important that we get these protections in place. And I mean, Michelle Rowland has been consulting on this almost since we came into government. There's been extensive consultation.
OK. Just on the McPhillamys mine, I know you can't say much because it's before the courts, but the Australian Workers' Union and its New South Wales Secretary, Tony Callanan, says the decision to block the McPhillamys gold mine is an insult to workers of Blaney and every community that depends on mining. You now have Australia's largest union offside over this decision. Has it caused a rift with the union? Well,
I've approved more than 40 mining projects since becoming the minister, and when it comes to McPhillamys, I haven't blocked the mine. What I've said is it has to be redesigned so the tailings dam doesn't sit on the headwaters and springs of the Bellubula River. My declaration covers 16% of the site, 400 hectares out of a 2,500 hectare site. So the mine can go ahead as long as they can redesign the tailings dam so that it's not destroying cultural heritage. I've met with the AWU many times since becoming the minister. They've never raised this with me directly. They've had lots of opportunity to make public comment, as the public has. I've made my decisions very clear. There's an extensive document, a record of why I've made my decision and how I've made my decision on the department's website. It's been there for months. So the reasons are there. And as you said, Kenny, I'm a little bit limited in what I can say because obviously the mining company is taking me to court. But when you think about it, say this in general terms, if we just let every mining company do exactly what they want to do in the cheapest possible way for their project, imagine what our environment would be like. We have these laws, environment laws and heritage protection laws, for a reason. In this instance, the mining company wanted to do exactly what it wanted to do. Other people in the community around Blaney wanted me to stop the project altogether. I haven't taken either of those positions. What I've said is the project can go ahead as long as it's redesigned to protect the heritage that is identified on the site.
We'll see what happens out of this court case. We're out of time. Tanya Plibersek, appreciate you coming on again. Thank you.